everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to go through this article that was published in the Daily Mail. The title is All the Explosive Evidence Idaho Murder Suspect Bryan Kohberger Doesn't Want Jurors to See. And I'm also going to highlight something I'm incredibly interested in, and that's genetic genealogy. Welcome to Revealing the Crime, where we explore true crime manipulation tactics and the psychology behind criminal behavior, especially cluster B traits. This channel is for discussion and education, not diagnosis. Viewer discretion is advised, as some topics may be disturbing. Let's uncover the truth one case at a time. So, to those of you unfamiliar with the case, Bryan Kohberger, the man on the left, he is accused of the murders of four university students in the picture on the right. Everyone other than the gentleman in the picture on the right lived together, and the victims of these crimes are the four people in the middle of the picture. The other two are roommates that were present at the time, but they weren't certain what was going on. So let's get into the article. It says the 30-year-old suspect is accused of breaking into an off campus student home in Moscow, Idaho, in the early hours of November 13, 2022, and fatally stabbing four students: Ethan Chafin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. Two other roommates survived, one of which came face to face with the masked killer moments after the attack. So, this is the horrifying backdrop to the entire case. We're talking about four college students who brutally lost their lives in the middle of the night. Two roommates survived, and one even came face to face. It's not just the evidence that makes this case so gripping, it's the trauma. The survivors carry that moment forever. The article continues with his August 11 trial date looming. Kohberger's defense has made an 11-hour bid for a delay, citing a recent Dateline episode that revealed bombshell new details about the case. The defense wanted to keep a wealth of evidence from a haunting 911 call to the phrase bushy eyebrows and the suspect's Amazon shopping history out of the trial. Before we continue, I want to say my goal is to be able to live stream this trial or do my best to do that. I've never done that before, but I need for this channel to grow in order to have the ability to live stream. If you could share this channel with your friends if you think they'd be interested in it, I would very much appreciate that. Okay, so this is where the legal chaos begins. As Kohberger's trial date is approaching, his team is now trying to set up for the best case they can for him. The Dateline episode, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it, dropped a lot of new details that I had no idea about. And now, all of this information, to me, it sounds like when the defense is saying that they want to keep this evidence out, it almost sounds like this stuff lines up a little too well. But again, we won't know until we see the trial. So far, everything we've heard is through the media, and we can only come to conclusions based on the information that we have access to. The article continues Amazon shopping history. It says Kohberger tried and failed to ban his damning Amazon shopping history, evidence that ties him to the murder weapon from the trial. When I'm not going to say that word because there are some words that get flagged here on YouTube, was discovered inside the home. A brown leather K-bar knife sheath was found next to Mogan. DNA on the clasp of the sheath was a match to Kohberger. After the murders, Kohberger appeared to try to cover his tracks. Researching how to delete his Amazon account activity, court documents show. Let me pause here for a second because this part really stopped me. It's not just that he allegedly bought the knife on Amazon, it's what happened around it: the timing, the delivery address, the purchase history. And then after, he starts searching. How do I delete this activity? That's not just shady, that's full blown cover up mode. And here's what really got me. Kohberger's Amazon account basically is a virtual crime scene. You've got a purchase of the weapon, you've got deletion searches, and according to Dateline, there may have been a second purchase of that same weapon. It's not just suspicious, it screams awareness, intent, concealment, and prosecutors love that trifecta. Let's be honest, it's giving I thought I was the smartest guy in the room energy, which, as a PhD student in criminology, many people felt that he had this type of arrogance and attitude. And going back to that, studying criminology, I guess it's different studying crime and then actually avoiding it. They seem to be very different skill sets. The irony is brutal. He understood how crime scenes work, yet allegedly made the most basic mistake, leaving a digital trail that's tied to physical evidence. Let's continue with the article. Kohberger's account then allegedly searched for a replacement knife or sheath. The murder weapon has not been found. Despite Kohberger's team claiming his Amazon purchase history was out of context, incomplete, and unfairly prejudicial, the judge ruled it is highly relevant and establishes significant connection between defendant and K-bar knife and sheath. First of all, how can an Amazon search history be taken out of context? You either looked for it or you searched for it or you didn't. And to me, the fact that he's looking for the weapon again on Amazon, and if you remember the picture he took after he committed the crime, allegedly, it's scary to think what could have happened. Also, this Amazon evidence is so compelling that the judge called it highly relevant. The translation of that is basically this stuff matters because it draws a straight line from Kohberger to the crime. The article continues. Both legal experts tell the Daily Mail the Amazon search history, when coupled with the DNA evidence on the sheath, is the most damaging evidence. The defense failed to get thrown out, with Levin saying they go directly to premeditation and planning. Romani believes the sheath evidence and the Amazon history combined is the smoking gun in the case against Kohberger. The biggest blow for the defense has to be everything related to the knife. There's no question that that is by far the biggest hurdle the defense has to overcome, he says. So, as you can see, it's not just the sheath, it's not just the Amazon history, it's not just the DNA, it's how everything fits together. It's the pattern. And that pattern tells a story, not a story of chaos, but a story of planning. And here's the part that cracked the case open and how it has actually motivated me into action. So, investigators found DNA on the knife sheath that was left at the crime scene. But when they ran it through the CODIS system, which is a standard law enforcement database, they didn't find any matches. So they decided instead to use a genealogical approach to try to find the match for this DNA. Let's talk about how that works. So, in the middle of this diagram, you'll see that the middle person is the suspect. And this person's DNA is sitting in a test tube in the forensic lab. And now the question is trying to identify who it belongs to. So, the step they took next is that they used a public genetic genealogy site. So, think something like GEDmatch, Ancestry, or Family Tree DNA. They are able to find relatives to the suspect, and then they use public records and family history to try to identify the family that the suspect could have come from and then narrow it down further from there. In this case, that's how they found the distant relative. They built a family tree that pointed to Kohberger. So again, they didn't actually have Kohberger's DNA yet. I mean, they had the DNA on the knife sheath in a test tube in the lab, but they didn't have Kohberger's DNA. They had not identified him yet. So once they had a possible match, they surveyed his family. They collected trash from outside his parents' house. They tested the father's DNA, and boom, the match was nearly exact. That's the moment Kohberger went from just another name to the prime suspect. But here's where the defense is fighting back. They're arguing that the FBI skipped steps. There was no warrant for the genealogy search, and even FBI policy says it's supposed to be a last resort. And essentially, it boils down to this: the prosecution will say this was public data, it's legal, it's accurate, and confirmed by traditional DNA analysis. The defense will say this is a privacy violation dressed up as forensic innovation. According to the research I've been doing, though, even if the court throws out the genealogy match, the trash DNA still holds up. But if the defense can stir doubt around how the lead was found, it can muddy the whole story. The case may not come down to what the DNA says, it might come down to how they got it. And that debate is getting louder and louder. For years, I've been so interested in genetic genealogy. And every time I look at certificate programs, I decide to pass on it because I've already gone to school and gotten the last degree I thought I would get. And yet, year after year, Dateline episode after Dateline episode, I always say, I wish I had done it. Well, watching this Dateline episode about this case specifically, that was it for me. I've registered for a certificate program, and I'm very excited to see if there's any way I can contribute after I earn my certification. I'm incredibly excited about it. I want to thank you all so much for listening. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. If this topic was interesting to you, please let me know because I would love to expand on the genetic genealogy aspect of it. It's just so fascinating to me. It's like the next revolution in forensic science, it feels. And on top of that, the majority of it doesn't even happen in the lab, right? You get the DNA sequence, and then everything after that is public record searches, family tree building. It's fascinating. Again, thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.